Well, in Mizoram, the way how we fought the onslaught of the COVID-19, which is a great pandemic here over the world, is somewhat interesting. I like to mention how we the people and the government have fought this COVID-19. Number one is that when we fought the COVID of the first wave, it was slightly tolerable and we could somehow manage it. And at that time, not to speak of all the details how we fought it, but one thing I like to mention is that Mizoram is having a long hundreds of kilometers of international border, bordering Myanmar and Bangladesh. Since you're afraid that COVID patients will be entering Mizoram secretly from both these international borders. So all along the borders, volunteers of the local young people were on duty. And they were on duty along the borders during the rainy season. And among the mosquitoes and among the hardship, they were on duty for months and months. Thousands and thousands of them were engaged in the first wave. And with this one point, I'll mention only that much in the first wave, how we fought it. But then came the second wave, which is much more problematic and burdensome. As everybody knows, here not only in the Mizoram, northeastern India, all over the world, it has become really a problem. How we fought here is, number one, we have the Community COVID Care Center. We simply call it 4C, Community COVID Care Center, because the government COVID care centers are not enough. It comes in hundreds and hundreds daily. So we have to accommodate them. In order to accommodate these COVID patients, we utilize the schools and educational institutions. It was somehow convenient, but nevertheless, in the schools, there are no good facilities like the water, bathroom, and kitchen facilities. These are not good enough. But on the other hand, there comes the church. In every locality, there are different churches, and different churches in different denominations. They offer their church for the community COVID care center. Here in the church, they have, apart from the building, they have the kitchen facilities. They have the water supply, and everything becomes really convenient. So we utilize the church. This is the most convenient, most important contribution of the church for fighting the Community COVID Care Center. It really served the purpose. Then the second thing is that here there are local volunteers. Local volunteers who help them in the community COVID care centers. Local nurses who are there, and local health workers, and even the doctors who are on pension or who are available on that locality. They volunteer themselves without receiving any pocket money, without receiving any remuneration. They volunteer themselves to serve this Community COVID Care Center run by the local people, and without expecting anything from the government, the local people can totally manage this. And then the second thing is that apart from those local nurses, doctors, medical workers, we need the local people to prepare a food for them, to be on duty whenever they need it. They were on 24 hours alert and help them, the local volunteers. Totally run by the local people here in the community care centers. It really relieves the burden of the government. This is one of the most important steps that we have taken to fight the COVID. Then the other point is food. Those people who are living there in the C4, they need food. So the local people contributed rice, vegetables, even meat and everything, whatever they needed. So they prepared the meal and supplied them. Even the church freely supplied the patients here in the C4 centers. Therefore, the church, the local people, totally supplied those patients who are lodged in the community COVID care center, all voluntary. Then the other task is, in order to maintain the discipline of the villages, locality, in the towns and in the cities, we have the volunteers who are called the village task force or the local task force. They were on duty for 24 hours and they help the local people whenever they need it in order to give them pass, in order to maintain discipline, in order to help them whenever they need to go to the COVID care center, even to the hospital. When there are dead persons, for the burial and any other things, it was done by the local task force and the local people voluntarily. This is quite exemplary. Here in every locality, whether it is in the villages or in the towns and cities, in every locality, there is a widespread arrangement of the loudspeakers and mics controlled by the NGO, local NGOs. Every announcement which requires to be announced, it was announced every now and then, whether a supply ration has to be taken, whether some important things happens or otherwise. Everything was announced there in the loudspeaker, and every household can understand. It really was a regimented and battalion headquarters-like type of this local management was there that gives a lot of regimented as well as disciplined way of fighting the COVID. Whenever there is going to be some accumulation of people somewhere there, and the loudspeaker announced that those people, you are going to be more than what the permit SOP has mentioned. Therefore, please refrain yourselves. All that kinds of announcement goes on. So that kind of discipline can be maintained everywhere. Not only that, the vegetables, fruits, and other supplies were supplied from the villages, and those people who are having the farm, their Zoom cultivation product, the vegetables, the leaves, the fruits, and everything in a group, they supplied it to the cities, to the towns, and to other villages who need them. Therefore, it really is a coordinated effort which helped maintain these 4Cs and other COVID care centers. And then the other point is there is Chief Minister Relief COVID Fund. For this, every walks of life contributed as much as they can. For example, the church, every church contributed quite a lot of money for this COVID fund. And different organizations are also contributing quite a lot of that. Not only that, individuals, even children, from their money, pocket money, they contributed quite a lot of that. And therefore, all this goes together. It was, management was controlled by the church representative, government representative chaired by the chief secretary, and then the NGO representative. So people have not to worry. There is no corruption or any other thing in the management of this relief fund for the COVID. Therefore, quite a lot of people contributed. Otherwise, it would have been quite a problem for the government. And then the other point is that with this problem that we are having, because Mizoram is a small state and with a limited financial facilities, I even have written to the Prime Minister requesting for the COVID vaccination price. If the central government can give us a free vaccine, whether it is between 18 years and 44 years, or if later on it may come up to 12 years or even so. I've written to the Prime Minister of India requesting that states like this, Mizoram, etc., and other states in the northeast, we are badly in need of financial assistance. So I requested the Prime Minister to give a free vaccine supply for this. If it is possible for the central government to give all this to all the states of India, that would be a very fortunate thing. That is why I have written to the Prime Minister. And I requested my other Northeastern Chief Ministers, as well as the other state Chief Ministers, to request the Prime Minister on this concern. I believe that central government would be able to do this. I have done this also. And then that is why with the concerted effort on the field of the finance, on the field of humanitarian tasks, on the field of the neighborly contributions, with this second wave of the COVID, we still can maintain somehow. And we are among the best performing states here in India. We are really grateful for that. And last of all, we request the prayer of the people to give to God so that India and northeastern states and Mizoram should be able to confront this onslaught of the second wave. And God knows whether the third wave will be coming. We have to prepare for that. That is how we fought this COVID onslaught, first wave, second wave. And so far, within our limited capabilities, we have been successful to a very great extent and have become one of the best performing states here in India. Thank you.